Hey everyone, welcome to Next Up Live this week. We've got it on Thursday today, not Wednesday, since it was Veterans Day yesterday. But if you are just tuning in for the first time to this series, I'm Ben Hallbrooks, your host. And every week, what we do here at Next Up Live is we take a look at the industries of cybersecurity and fintech and get a little behind the scenes look at what NXTsoft is doing. So this week I'm really excited because I get to bring on one of my fellow marketing team members, Amy Rice. Amy, thanks for coming on the program.
Hey Ben, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Oh yeah. Amy is, by way of introduction, she is marketing director at NXTsoft and host of the fantastic OmniTalk FI podcast, which is what we're talking about today. So let's start there, Amy. OmniTalk FI, that podcast. Tell us about it. What is it?
So first I want to say that it's exciting to kind of be on the other side of the microphone. I'm typically the one doing all the interviewing, so it's a little weird to be the interviewee. So basically, OmniTalk is a podcast that focuses on fintech and how it affects banks and credit unions. So basically, it kind of does a deep dive into what banks and financial institutions are interested in. So we do a range of topics from open banking to kind of what you expect in the future. And we try to do more of a thought leadership approach as opposed to just a selling approach. And so I think we've kind of created some content that is a good mix of the two.
Absolutely. And I think you're 16 episodes in now?
Yeah, 16 so far.
Pretty exciting. I'm a big podcast listener. So when I heard that NXTsoft was gonna be producing a podcast, I was pumped, and it's been great. It's been really good. But I want to get behind the scenes from you. What's the backstory? How did that podcast come about?
So as a marketer, you're kind of trying to always think of new ways to get your content out to kind of your clients and your potential clients, and just the industry in general. So we've done blogs, we've done videos that Ben, you've produced. And so a podcast was kind of a good way in order for us to get kind of content out to our clients and also to kind of just the industry in general. So I listened to podcasts when I was driving to work. I had an hour each way commute. So I was a big podcast fan. And since, we kind of all transitioned to at home, I don't listen to podcasts as much, but it's definitely something that, I thought would be a good idea and is kind of an interesting way to get content out.
Absolutely. And it's kind of neat to take a little bit of a deeper dive with some of the experts in the industry, and hear a little bit more about what's going on there from their point of view, because there's just so much going on in fintech.
Exactly.
Let me
it's
ask
always
you this.
Changing.
Since you're now so many episodes in, what are a few highlights or favorites of yours that you've recorded?
Oh, there's a bunch of favorites. So our first partner that I was able to do kind of a collaborative podcast with was Kasasa. And Greg and Chris were really great. So if you haven't watched that one, definitely check it out. The other highlight of every episode is I kind of ask a fun question at the end. And that's if you could have dinner with anyone living or dead, who would it be and why? And there's definitely a range of answers. Bobby said Jesus. Our magician that we had on for our conference said Elon Musk. We've had family members. So that's definitely kind of an interesting thing that I always look forward to with every episode, just to see who they pick.
Absolutely. So I know you mentioned this. I think it's really cool that you're incorporating partners into this and highlighting some of the work that you're doing. But where do you see moving forward? Where do you see the podcast going? Give us a little bit of a glimpse at some of your plans.
So the next episode is actually with our CTO, Will Blackburn, and he's talking all about APIs. APIs are kind of a hot topic in fintech right now, and he's kind of our resident expert on that. So that episode I'm really excited about, and you definitely need to check it out. As far as moving forward, I think that we're kind of trying to kind of open the horizons a little bit. Starting out, you kind of don't have a name, you don't really have a reputation. So I got the chance to interview a lot of our, very smart, very talented NXTsoft employees. And I think in the future, I want to kind of try to expand that out to kind of industry experts within fintech. And then also, obviously, we love our partners. We have very good relationships with our partners. So that's definitely something to look forward to.
Absolutely. And I mean, NextSoft has such a, well, first of all, we have a great partner network, like you said. Of
Hmm.
course, incredible employees. So it's really good. This is one of the reasons I love doing this is hearing from you guys, what you guys are working on, and of course, NextSoft is connected to so many different financial institutions and fintech companies
Definitely.
across, the U.S. So tapping into that, I think, will be some great content moving forward. So I'm excited. I'm excited to hear that. So let me ask you this. I actually have two more questions for you. So this is my next
Okay.
last question. So the question is, so aside from your excellent OmniTalk FI podcast, when you're not behind the microphone, what are some other podcasts that you love to listen to?
That's a really great question. So I love podcasts. They're literally my favorite thing ever. Like I said, I had kind of a 2 hour commute, so I had the time driving to listen to podcasts, which now not so much. But when I did kind of avidly listen to podcasts, This American Life is a really great one. Ira Glass is fantastic, and they're just such great storytellers that it's really like the hour goes by and you don't realize it. So that was a great way to kind of deal with my commute. The other one is Reply All, which it's a little bit, I guess, smaller of a fan base. I don't know if you've heard of it, but they
Oh, I
basically
have.
take, you have, okay, good. So basically they take a problem or an issue within kind of the technology industry and like really research it and figure out why or try to get some answers. So those two are definitely my go-to when I want to listen to a podcast.
Excellent. Good recommendations. I've definitely listened to both of those. I love the internet culture stuff that Reply All does for
Hmm.
sure. Um,
Definitely.
Now, I'm going to turn your own question back to you that
I
you
knew
always
it.
ask your guests. So, what if you could have dinner with any person living or dead? Who would it be?
That's a great question, Ben. So, so I've obviously had, 16 weeks to think about it, and it's changed a couple of times. But I really love Aaron Draplin. He's a graphic designer out of the West Coast. And he really takes graphic design and kind of simplifies it. He goes old school with it. And he creates really unique pieces that I think are really great. He teaches classes, which I've never kind of been able to attend those classes, but I think he would be a really good person to talk about graphic design and where it's going and some of his inspirations. So I think he would be fantastic to have a meal with.
Yeah, sounds fascinating. I'll have to look him up for sure. Amy, well, I'm going to put as a note to our watchers, our viewers, I'm going to put a link to your podcast down below the
Awesome.
video. So anyone who hasn't checked it out or needs to catch up can do so. Thank you for all your good work and thanks for your time today.
Awesome. Thank you, Ben. It was fun.
All righty. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys